Together. I had a hard stop, and there was no way for me to get it
No
done.
problem.
So thanks a lot for accommodating me.
No problem, Lee.
All right.
Great
Okay,
to
great.
see you. Last we spoke, I was in a really cold country, but now I'm in a country that's warmer than where you are right now. Tell the audience where you're calling from, sir.
I'm calling from Bradenton, Florida, just north of Sarasota on the west
Yeah.
coast of Florida, and it's nice and warm. You're going to get a little bit of a cold front coming in where temperatures will drop into the low 70s. I've got to find a coat to wear.
We do have some people here that are actually still in in New York and Toronto and Finland and the cold countries. So I'll let them convert Fahrenheit to degrees and live in envy, right? But again, welcome back. Let's talk about we're going to do our elevator pitch showdown. 1 minute, Lee, you get your elevator pitch in, and we'll dissect, we'll talk, and if you'd like, for your entertainment, I'm happy to give a pitch back, right? So over to you, sir. I'll kick it off and introduce myself, and we'll go from there. Okay, Lee?
Thanks.
All right, Lee, my name is Singh. I'm actually an investor in the health tech space, specifically in insurance tech. So I wanted to understand what you're working on. Tell me more.
Great. Ash, it's nice to meet you. Thanks for this time. Ash, I'm CEO and founder of a company called RecovX Health. Every year in America, there are 3 million what we call third-party injury claims, where folks are injured in auto accidents or slip and falls, and they have to file a claim with another insurance company. Okay. The thing about those claims is 96% of them, about 2.8 million of those claims, are fairly simple, straightforward, common injury claims. You know how they'll typically resolve, how long. However, in the U.S., because of the personal injury attorney market, and their advertising, folks tend to hire attorneys to represent their claim, even when they don't need to. And an attorney is going to lengthen the time for settlement for an injured person by 3 times, taking it from 2 months to about 7 months, and they're going to take 1/3 of the injury compensation. So what we've designed is an application that will enable injured claimants to be able to file their own claim directly with the insurance company, helps them navigate through the process, gathers all the documents necessary to support their claim, and helps them to settle it electronically and online with the insurance company. What that means for the injured person is that they're going to get their claim settled in 2 months rather than 7 months. They're going to put twice as much net compensation in their pocket. For the insurance company, it means that they're going to get lower claim expenses and settle claims faster, and they'll save on medical and legal costs associated with claims. Our product's already built, we're ready to go to market, and we're looking for funding to help us in the sales and marketing efforts this coming year.
Excellent. Lee, thank you for that. Let's get some feedback on RecovX Health. Interesting. You kind of have your arch nemesis in this story. The arch nemesis is the personal claims lawyer, and I think we've all heard this, right? Have you been injured have you been injured at work, or and you have these infomercials, commercials, you see them on. How much money do these injury lawyers pay on an annual basis on all these advertisements and stuff like that?
They spend $1 billion a year in advertising to get claimants on billboards, internet advertising, and television advertising. It's a huge market. There's 90,000 of them spending that money.
Wow. $1 billion in ads. Wow.
Yeah.
The pitch was very good, Lee. My question to you is that when I look at you, the way your story arc is you kind of have the lawyer, right? The lawyer that's just there for their own benefit in the equation. They're not really adding a value for 96% of the claims. 96% of claims. And what they do is they earn some money for themselves, but overall what happens is it just increases the overall cost of insurance, right? Overall, because they have to, they have to eat and they have these components in place. My question to you, coming back to the superhero example, right? For all of us that wasted money watching the Avengers with the whole Thanos thing, where he snapped his finger and half the world disappeared. Okay.
Right.
Work with me for a second, Lee, on this idea. Imagine if you were Thanos, okay? Or I was, depending on, right? Snap my finger and suddenly all energy injury lawyers are gone. What happens to the world? What happens to the whole industry, the insurance industry, the people industry? How does the United States change when it comes to this area?
In this area, I think that what we'd see is that there are a much smaller number of claims that the insurance companies have to put dedicated resources on. There's that 4% of claims where they're very severe claims, greater than 50,000 in size, but for the that is enabled because on those 96% of the claims where an attorney is involved, the insurance company no longer has to put their own attorney on a case to face off against the claimant's attorney. So that gives them less time they have to brief the attorney. It also, if they're using our app, it enables them to stay. Our app is designed to nurture the claimant through the process, to stay in touch with the claimant on a weekly basis and monitor their healing and progress of recovery as well. And so in that process, we alert the insurance company's claim reps. So we'll identify a problem early. This person's back sprain has turned into a disc herniation, and they're going to have additional surgery. And so we alert the insurance company that they need to pay more attention to this claimant. So what I think it would mean is that the insurance industry would pay closer attention to the very severe claims and use technology to help quickly settle the smaller claims. That'd be my view of it. Now, but bear in mind, Ash, I am our market. We've determined that it's very difficult to go up against the 1 billion in advertising. My market really, 15 insurance companies in the U.S. represent 85% of the industry. So while I've always had a B2B and a B2C model, I'm really doubling down this year on the B2B model. And I'm in discussions with 2 major carriers right now about implementing our product as a white label product within their own environment. So it's something that they would use on every claim to make their adjusters smarter, make people feel better about the claim process. And today they have nothing. They don't give you an app. If you're a Progressive insurance policyholder, you got an app on your iPhone, so you can do all the self-service you want. But if you were hit by a Progressive policyholder, they don't give you an app. They give you a phone number, and you've got to navigate your way through that process all alone. So that's why people turn to attorneys. Our product gives them insight into how to navigate this process and leads them through that.
Understood. Lee, tell me about how much money you're looking to raise.
3
million.
1.2 million is roughly what I'd like to raise. I think that could give us what we need in terms of sales and marketing presence this year to get a better brand recognition within the insurance industry. Again, we're targeting 15 senior executives of 15 major insurance companies and the ecosystem that surrounds them within their own company. So that can be a very rifle shot focused market, but it requires some significant marketing to do that. Our product is ready. There'll be some minor tweaks, but our burn rate on the product is next to nothing right now. It's a built product and it's ready to go, and we can customize it with each insurance company that comes on with their own logo, so it looks like their product, sort of like Salesforce.com, except in a cloud-hosted multi-tenant database that can operate agnostic of who the carrier is.
Now, let me ask, there's a great question in the chat, Lee, if I may. This is coming from Dwight. He says, I was hit, not my fault at all. State Farm called directly and tried to claim that I was 15% responsible, and they tossed out a low ball amount. Tell me a little bit about that, right? So the thing around this, because I'm just trying to understand.
Good. It's a great question.
the element of the like, I don't know. I mean, in this story, we think the lawyers are the bad people. However, is it safe to say that some insurance companies might also be part of the enemy? You know what I mean?
But it's safe to say that all of them are part of the
Oh,
enemy. You know,
wow. Wow.
there's some things that they could do and best practices that would help them make the claimants feel better. Okay, and here's a perfect example of this thing the person with State Farm claimed. So couple things. There's two things I'll answer here. One is what you're talking about there. If you're 15% responsible, they're saying you did something, had some, it's called comparative negligence or contributory liability. Okay, and so they're saying that you had some, maybe you were going too fast through the intersection, whatever, when the person T-bones you when they ran a red light. You know, and that's kind of normal. Companies do that. They assess a comparative negligence amount. The one important thing that we do with our product is we tell you what the value of your claim is. Okay, so the average person doesn't know really, you know, what's the value of this claim. They may think because someone rear-ended them at a red light and totaled their car that they won the lottery. They got $1 million claim, and the lawyers would have you believe that there's a huge claim there. The simple fact is unless you've got pretty severe injuries, that's probably a $20,000 to $30,000 claim. Our product looks at the medical injury severity of your injuries and tells you here's a range. So for the person who asked that question, they want to have their car replacement car paid for. That's fine. Oh, no one was injured. So, you know, in that case, no one was injured. That's going to be, you know, we don't deal with property damage. There are companies that deal with property damage losses like that, but ours is really for personal injuries where they've sustained an injury. And in that case, we tell you what the value of that injury is. And if the insurance company wants to negotiate a 15% reduction in that, we advise you, and our technology advises you that that's perfectly within their rights, and they're going to do that sometimes. So just bear it in mind when you go to the settlement negotiation.
I think, like, you know, as I'm thinking about this, Lee, there's two things that are crossing my mind. The first thing around this is the fact that, you know, if lawyers cannot be trusted and insurance companies cannot be trusted, there needs to be some sort of kind of fair kind of smart mediation platform. And I think that's what you've created. It's like,
we're Switzerland.
Okay. Sorry?
We're Switzerland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens is that you know, this idea, like, because usually when an accident occurs, it's something that people have no experience with, right?
Correct.
And I feel like it would make sense because it always needs to come from data. And again, I want to just come back to the use case and the user journey, because I feel like sometimes it's better just to kind of explain how that works. And for me, you know, God forbid anything happened to me or you or anyone else that's listening to this session, is you have a negative experience, an accident or something like that, and they go into your tool, and you go into the tool and you describe with as little or as much detail as you want what happened, and the generative AI tool, like the AI tool itself, can help you complete the puzzle, right? Because you can say, hey, I got into an accident, right? I got T-boned, right? You know, and the system will come in and ask you a couple of questions to give you a full picture of what actually happened. And then from there, it could generate a report based on, you know, the last, you know, 100,000 claims that was in this space. Okay. You know, state by state, intersection by intersection, you know, insurance companies, by lawyers, right? What happened? Okay.
Right.
And that's going to give you an idea of what you do. Do you go down the legal route or not? And if you go down the legal route, who is the best guy to talk to for this type of claim? Because, you know, different lawyers are different, right?
Those are good points too, Ash. And one of the things that we've done as a part of our process right now of going to market is to build a network of lawyers who will work with our product and use our product, because our product can be in the hands of an attorney, can help to settle a claim faster. Because the process itself today is 75 million paper documents exchanged annually on those 3 million claims. And most of that's because the law offices are not automated, with the technologies to enable them to exchange documents and all that and capture medical bills. So we two things in that. Once we've got our legal network and we've got the first part of it formed already, we can, if, for the claimant who says, throughout the claims process using our Injury Claims Express product, we tell them, if you need help, if you decide you need an attorney, we can provide you a list of attorneys in your area who will help you, and they'll also do a discount on the services that they charge you. So rather than charging you 40% in Florida, perhaps we have attorneys who will charge you 20%. So they charge you less money because they're going to use our product, which makes the attorney more efficient. So that's one approach to that. We don't want to completely alienate the lawyers. In fact, many of the lawyers, they don't want these tiny claims. They don't want the small claims. They're looking for the big fish. So let us help them, get the small claims passed through faster.
My question to you, so I hear you, Lee, on this. My question to you is around the big picture, because as you were talking, we've talked very specifically at the moment in the current form of your software to be something around injury claims, right? Very much
Correct.
focused on that. But when I think about what you're doing, I see this a little bit differently. From a big picture perspective, I see this as hopefully an AI-powered mediation solution recommendation platform. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
Correct.
I need a centralized tool. I've had a problem, okay, which I might need to sue for, okay?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Could be an injury, it could be defamation, it could be, do you know what I mean? Anything related to this. And I go to this tool, I state what happens. The tool helps me give a much more robust analysis of what actually happened. So the AI helps me describe it better. And then it goes back historically over the last 50 years for defamation lawsuits in Florida related to,
Right.
stuff like this. And I have a very clear idea, the path that I need to take to make myself whole, right? And at the end of the day, that's what you want to do. You can delay an injury claim because you want to get like $200,000 more, but the worst is when you think it's 200,000, but you're not going to get more than 20,000 as you described.
Correct.
But I want to come back to what the big picture is, Lee, on this. For me, it's this like universal AI-powered mediation recommendation solution.
So,
right?
so that takes us into a realm that we're trying to tiptoe around. You have 50 different bar associations in the 50 states, and they're highly regulated. And if you do anything that looks like you're practicing law without a license, they come down pretty hard on you, and they'll sue you to stop you from doing business in their state. And it's just it's that state by state jurisdiction that's difficult to deal with and could put a big obstacle in front of rolling out a program like that. Second thing on that is that what you're talking about is a concept called dispute resolution, and there's a concept that was begun some years back called automated ADR, automated dispute resolution, where you go in and the system helps to mediate on behalf of you and your, the defendant and the plaintiff. It helps to mediate this in lieu of hiring a lawyer or going to a lawsuit. That has not gone well in the insurance industry. In fact, I was one of the companies I'm talking to right now, the Travelers Insurance, they had tried a product like that, and it just wasn't great. What the problem is, that says you have a dispute. Most of these claims, if the insurance companies handled it well, it wouldn't even be a dispute. It's that adversarial climate that occurs early on in the claim that causes people to run to a lawyer or to believe there's going to be a dispute with the big insurance company. Our product is designed to make that process transparent and collaborative. So you feel like you're exchanging information back and forth with the claim rep, and they're telling you their position, and you're saying, and our system is helping you be educated on what's normal for that. The other piece about looking back at jury verdict research to determine what are the cases that you could pull up, what you call that, a prior legal decision on that. That information is not readily available. We will track it over time with our product, but that means you got to get some volume of claims in, so you'll have a database, a historic database.
So Lee, I want to come back to your earlier point. There was tools, and this was like this is like 8-10 years ago, where you could take a speeding ticket, okay, and upload it onto the internet, and the website would tell you exactly how to fight this parking ticket or speeding ticket and probabilities around this based on jurisdiction. That's been done. You're saying it's illegal now? Is that illegal now?
Speeding tickets is a little different situation. If you want to tell somebody how to fight a speeding ticket, anybody can go out and put an advice column out there in the world to do that. And if you're small, most of those are small. A lot of those are law firms that do that. And one of the reasons they do it is it's a big old net that they're using to try to capture more people that could be clients of theirs. So, and if you're a law firm, it's perfectly legal to do that. You're basically giving legal advice. We have to be very cautious in our product, never to give out legal or medical advice, and to disclaim that in every way possible.
No, I understand. Because I actually, when you're building a startup, when somebody wants to sue you, it usually means that you're onto something good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So for me, if somebody says they're going to sue you, I was like, okay, sue me. Like, well, for what? Like, I'm looking at Uber. When before Uber was there was all these ride sharing, and everyone's like, oh, I'm going to get sued. I'm going to get sued. And I don't have this.
Right.
I don't have, but like, I'm not always, I always feel like if you're going to disrupt, right? Disruption might involve challenging the status quo. And if you need to, for instance, have a partnership with law firms, which you already do, getting this idea of mediation, I feel, is really important, right?
Right.
And get that moving, right? Because the other thing around this is just like market access. I think that there's a challenge there, right? Because you have all these bad actors in the play. And now that we know that lawyers are bad actors and insurance are bad actors, where is the world going to go on this, right, Lee? Where's the world going to go? Because when you have bad actors on both sides, it's a problem because everyone wants money for themselves.
So the bad actors, I don't want to mischaracterize insurance companies as bad actors or lawyers as bad actors. Lawyers feel like they're doing a good service for people who would be abused by the system. And there's enough of that happens that they can feel righteous in that position. Insurance companies can't just open up the vault and say, come on in and get what you need when you have a claim, because they have a tremendous number of fraudulent claims and people who are opportunistically fraudulent, who say, yeah, I got hit in the McDonald's parking lot, someone backing out, and now I've got whiplash. And so they go to the chiropractor and milk that claim for 3 weeks and get $4,000 of medical bills run up. So insurance companies have to be discerning in the claims. So I just don't want to mischaracterize that they're all bad actors. The claimants are just as often bad actors too. They're trying to win the lottery or get something paid for that's that they're not really due. So,
of course, no. What I'm saying is they're not all bad actors. I'll agree with you there, but part of this is what's the new norm going to be, Lee? That's what I need to figure out. You know what I mean?
So I truly believe that the new norm could be every insurance claimant that comes on board. There are 3 phases of that we have, and of course I teach for insurance companies on best practices, and that they use our system to systematize a set of best practices around nurturing the claimant, letting them know they care about it, but they don't just get free money, letting them know that here's about what your claim is worth. It's on the website. And when you have a claim that you present to us as an insurance company, I'm going to give you a link to our site that says, here's where you can file all your information for us. You can alert me, you can contact me with a hotline on this website, and I'll be viewing your information as you go through your recovery process. And then our system's going to touch base with the people every week and check them, do a health and wellness checkup, find out how things are going, and then alert the claim adjuster. So we're trying to create a new ecosystem here it's more of a collaborative environment where nobody's, if things are not going well, the claimant can always ask for a lawyer. But if the insurance company handles it right, they can handle most of these claims by just taking care of the claimant and making people feel appreciated. It's the same. I did a study on medical malpractice lawsuits. Surgeons who have a good bedside manner are much less likely to be sued than they could be. They could be awful. They could be butchers, but they won't be sued as often as the precision surgeon who has a brusque bedside manner, is arrogant to the patients. They're going to get sued far more often. It's about how you treat people and how they feel.
Is that difficult to do when somebody's gone through an injury? Because I'm looking at some of the concepts here. When we think about automated like dispute resolution, ADR, there's feedback here from one of our other founders. She says it doesn't work well with divorces either, mostly because people are not mature, sane, or reasonable. So that's the question, Lee, right? My question to you, for this process to work, the individual in question, usually the person that sustained an injury, how do you get them to become mature, sane, or reasonable? Do you think that is doable?
Yeah, that's a reasonable question.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the root cause analysis of this because I want to be able to unpack this pitch around making sure that the worlds are sincerely a better place, right? And so, God bless both of us right now. We're not injured at the moment. We are currently mature, sane, and reasonable, right? But
right.
I think what happens is that in the equation, and you know this already, is that the insurance companies and the lawyers and all the other people in the ecosystem are playing to the insane, unreasonable, and immature, right?
Right.
Person, right? No matter what, but it's because they're in pain and they're just, they're all those components. So how does your software and all this stuff kind of get them to that place where you have a little bit about that? Because without that, it won't work, if that's fair to say.
So the majority of claimants, when they hire an attorney, they have absolutely zero control over what the value of that claim is going to settle at. They can be optional all they want, but the lawyers eventually, although they won't tell you up front, they'll write a demand letter that says, we're demanding $100,000 from you, Mr. Insurance Company, for this claim. But in reality, the lawyer knows it's going to settle for $15,000. They don't tell claimants the realistic number. The idea of our product is we tell you at the beginning, here is what historically claims like yours with your injuries have settled for in the past. And it's a range of about 20%. Your injuries basically will settle for between $12,000 and $18,000, right? And there's not a lot you can do to make it settle for more. So by educating the claimant, we help them to be informed because they're never informed. They don't know what the claim is worth. They think they won the lottery, but there's no empirical data that they can point to that says you've just got to. This is a small run-of-the-mill claim. Got
it. Lee, I see where this value is, and the example, there's platforms out there that are a window to truth, right? So there's platforms like Glassdoor that share kind of salary expectation. You want to get a job here, this is how much you're going to earn, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I think that understanding kind of the business model around that is interesting. And I think the claims component, right? Your claims prediction engine, right? Which is what you're doing, is something that could be utilized for injury. It could be utilized for other things too, right? Could be, it's like, how much alimony are you going to pay, right? Or all the other things when people have issues that they got to deal with, right? Anything that might touch a lawyer. What you're saying is that you suddenly become the localized, data-based sense of truth in terms of claims, and you're using potentially unpublic data, right? You might be getting your data from other sources that might not be publicly available.
Right.
And what it allows people to do is be more efficient in their claims process, and go from there. Okay, I can see that, right? Now, do you think that this is something that can be utilized just individually? Like, is this something that, I know you want to partner with insurance agents and lawyers and all these other components, but do you see this as kind of a way, like my visual on a tool like this might be something that obviously needs to rank highly on Google because you need to discover this.
Exactly. That's our difficulty, is to get that individual B2C model is difficult, and we can do that with a very strong social media presence, an advertising presence, a Google search engine presence, those sorts of things. That's part of the funding, because we're not going to drop that model. Our system was really built not for insurance companies originally, but built for claimants, injured people, to find it. But the problem is the lawyers make so much noise, we can't be heard above that noise right now. So, but it works very effectively in a B2C model. And we want to continue that B2C model there. There's a B2L model where we're going to market with lawyers, where we'll provide lawyers claimant leads for people, and then a B2B model for insurance companies. But the B2B model with insurance companies are the dial movers. I get one company. This one company I'm talking with next week and doing a demo for. They do 60,000 claims a year. That's $12 million a year in revenue for us.
Got it. Understood. All right.
It would take me a long time to get 60,000 people off of Google search, right?
Yeah. I mean, the B2B play is really important, and all right. Let's do some pitch back. Let's see where this goes.
Thank you.
Right? I want to I mean, your pitch was good, right? And my element around the hook is important, right? That hook, how does it activate and explode? Because I feel like in your pitch, it just wasn't, you're up against a big battle there. But I think this claims resolution engine, right? Dispute resolution engine is very powerful. It needs to kind of be able to sit on its own, be able to become that resource, and be able to provide that information, make the right recommendations, save people time. You're looking for $1.3 million, you said, right?
Yeah.
Got it. All right, Lee, let's give this a shot. Go ahead. You can introduce yourself as an investor. Go ahead.
I'm an investor in the insurtech space, and I've heard a little bit about RecovX Health and Injury Claims Express, but I'm not quite sure what you guys do. Tell me more about you.
Thank you. I appreciate your time today, Lee. My name is Singh, and I'm part of the RecovX team. As you may or may not know, when it comes to the world of insurance, especially with injuries, 96% of claims are simple claims that can be done without the use of a lawyer. But what happens in the environment of an injury, starting off with the individual sometimes has a little bit of immaturity. They're dealing with stress, and through that journey, it brings situations where people want to take and escalate things to lawyers. It gets very expensive. They delay their inputs. And this is why this whole industry and why insurance costs are skyrocketing. And I thought this was something that is worth solving in 2022. So we've created an AI-powered dispute resolution or claims recommendation engine that allows, in a very simple point form, the ability for somebody to post the experience, the injury that they've had, and it allows, with information and data that's privately and publicly available, compiled, for us to give a recommendation of how much they will get and what is the most optimal strategy for them to not just get money, but when, because that relates to their ability to recover. We think that this is going to be a place where, as we start to build this, this could be utilized in other elements in terms of mediation and dispute resolution. But we want to start with the multi-billion-dollar industry of injuries. And we think that with $1.3 million, we can do the right business development required to get the right mix of honest lawyers and honest insurance companies to scale where we're looking to go. I'd love to chat to you more about how we can make this happen and hopefully get to the place where we make a serious dent in the insurance claims process. Thank you.
Excellent. I like your conversational style. Mine was, my pitch was nervous and rushed, and I said a lot really fast. And but you have a good relaxed conversational style. You raised some points there in the way you position that. I'm glad we have this recorded, because I want to go back and kind of transcribe that and possibly use some of what you said. So I like that. That's very helpful.
What I want to do is, again, I want to really drill down the big picture. I really like, and that's kind of what and it's going to click with me. It might click tomorrow. It might click a week from now, Lee, but let's get to that point, and let's get to the point where you have the right resources and it's just magical. And like, I can start to kind of see this now that I think about Glassdoor and salary information and other information, like it's starting to kind of click better with me now. And, we just have to find that path, right? When
Glassdoor is a good thought. That's very interesting. I've never thought of that, but there's more to needs to be unpacked in that one.
Yeah. And part of it, I'm sitting at the
They could acquire me.
Yes, they could. I'm sitting, some people might have heard of the blue ocean strategy versus the red ocean strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
In business, I'm actually sitting in the university where the blue ocean strategy was created, right? I'm literally like, a stone's throw away from the blue ocean strategy and the institute around what they're doing. And that's what I'm looking for, Lee. We have to get this done. We have to discover this. And it might be just a couple of inflection points, Lee. And sometimes it requires us to invest some time and energy. And if it's just one or two inflections and it changes, that's the thing that we needed to do, because your pitch was good, no doubt. But I want to make sure that happens. Okay. So let's make sure we rock and roll on that. I appreciate you making some time today. And,
thank you. Thanks for letting me come in early too.
Always my pleasure, sir. Always my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Cheers. Have a wonderful